We've all seen the image, a line of figures evolving from ape to human. But behind that iconic image lies one of the most important and debated questions in science. How did we get here? For over a century, researchers have searched for the so-called missing link, a fossil or species that connects modern humans to our most ancient primate ancestors. Finding it, or understanding it, isn't just about bones in the dirt. It's about proving the theory of evolution, which stands in stark contrast to creationist worldviews that suggest humans were made separately, fully formed. So, how close are we to finding the answer? What have we uncovered so far? And what does it all really mean? The phrase missing link can be misleading. Originally, it referred to the idea of a single fossil, somewhere between apes and humans, that would neatly explain our transition. But evolution doesn't work like a ladder. It's more like a tree, full of branches. Some led to us, others led to dead ends. Still, the concept of the missing link matters, especially in the context of the evolution versus creation debate. Because if we can trace our lineage through a chain of species, each showing a gradual shift in anatomy, intelligence, and behavior, then evolution gains powerful support. Without that chain, skeptics argue that there's no real proof humans evolved from earlier species at all. And that's why the search continues, not just for one link, but for many pieces in a vast evolutionary puzzle. Over the years, fossil discoveries have shed remarkable light on our origins. In 1974, paleoanthropologists in Ethiopia found Lucy, a 3.2-million-year-old hominin known as Australopithecus afarensis. She walked upright, like us, but had a small brain and long arms adapted for climbing. Lucy wasn't quite human, but she wasn't quite an ape either. Then came Ardi, short for Ardipithecus ramidus, who lived 4.4 million years ago. Ardi could walk on 2 feet, but still had a grasping big toe, an evolutionary hybrid. Other species like Homo habilis and Homo erectus showed increased brain size, tool use, and migration. These finds form a rough timeline, showing how certain traits evolved gradually over millions of years. But the big question remains, what happened at the very beginning? Where is the clear evidence of the very first shift, from ape to something more human? Fossils tell part of the story, but DNA tells another. In the last 2 decades, scientists have sequenced the genomes of ancient hominins, including Neanderthals and a mysterious group called the Denisovans. What they discovered was unexpected. Modern humans carry up to 2% Neanderthal DNA and even more Denisovan DNA in some populations. This means our ancestors didn't just evolve in isolation. They interbred with other hominin species. That supports evolution, but it also complicates the story. Instead of a straight line, human evolution looks more like a braided river, with branches meeting, separating, and merging again. Creation theories often argue that such complexity proves nothing. But the genetic evidence shows that these ancient species weren't mythical or separate. They were real, and they were part of our story. Despite all these discoveries, one of the biggest mysteries still lies in the past. What happened between 6 and 7 million years ago, when we supposedly split from our last common ancestor with chimpanzees? In 2001, a partial skull was found in Chad, called Sahelanthropus cadensis, or Tomai. It was over 7 million years old, and it had a surprisingly flat face. But it's incomplete, crushed, and scientists still argue whether it walked upright, an important trait that separates humans from other apes. The problem isn't just one missing fossil. It's a whole stretch of time where the evidence is sparse or absent. And this is where creationists point and say, see, the record is broken. But others argue, fossils are incredibly rare. Most living things don't fossilize, and the few that do may never be found. It's not proof of absence. It's the result of time, geology, and chance. Finding a missing link isn't like finding a missing puzzle piece in your living room. It's more like searching for a single leaf from a tree that fell millions of years ago and hoping it survived flood, fire, scavengers, and shifting tectonic plates. Fossilization requires incredibly rare conditions. The right temperature, the right soil, no scavengers, no erosion. Add to that the fact that much of the world hasn't even been explored for fossils due to war, geography, or politics. So the real surprise isn't that we're missing links. It's that we've found any at all. But technology is catching up. Today, researchers use AI and satellite data to identify promising fossil sites. CT scans help reconstruct crushed fossils digitally. And new techniques even extract ancient proteins and DNA fragments from teeth and bones that were once considered useless. Every year, new evidence is helping us fill in the blanks, not with guesses, but with hard science. And as we learn more, we're getting better at asking the right questions. Evolution doesn't need to be a matter of belief, it just needs evidence. And that evidence is still being uncovered. So, is the missing link still missing? In some ways, yes. There's no single fossil that ties everything together with a bow. But in another way, no. Because the missing link was never one species. It was the story of gradual change, traced through hundreds of fossils, tools, genes, and migrations. The gaps may be wide, but the trend is clear. We evolved. Slowly, imperfectly, but surely. And as we keep digging into the earth and into our own DNA, we get closer to understanding how we came to be. Not through myth, not through magic, but through the unfolding, messy beauty of nature over deep time. If this made you think differently about our past, give this video a like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments. What do you think still lies hidden beneath our feet?